Rah, I'm Dark Wolf. What's your name? Oh woo, my name is Bubblegum. I'm a little femboy fox and I'm really friendly to big boys. Oh whoa, wanna RP? NWN? Rah, that's so what I was thinking. Wanna take this to notes? I'm so horny right now. Hiya, wanna RP start? Parentheses, I'm so horny right now. Oh whoa, so am I. Let's start. Oh whoa, what's this? Notices your bald. I don't know. Pulls down boxes. Asterisk. Slowly. Asterisk. So big. Bends over. Presenting my Femi fox butt. Give it to me back.
Don't let your kids watch it!
No, that's not what this video is going to be about. I've got some truths for you. This is Arilin Thameslink, ready to drop some B-14 fur bombs on your ass. How's it going, guys? My name is Arilin Thameslink. Why Thameslink? Because I like my babes as big as a bus. And today, oh boy, today I'm going to be talking about something that I think no one has had either the balls, the wherewithal, or the will to talk about for the fear of the great YouTube demonetization. But considering I have no such thing to worry about, today I'm going to be shedding some light on a very, let's say, infamous or controversial topic within this fandom, and that is of course the dreaded two-letter thing that you see in nearly every furry meme ever, RP. Now what is RP, you may ask? Well, little innocent young furry or old furry that may have avoided this so-called cancer for so long, I'm going to enlighten you, and I just hit my nose, ow. Farf. RP is an abbreviation for the term roleplay. Now, roleplay in the online sense can stem to many things. It mostly involves playing a character that isn't you. In the furry context, it may be your persona, it may be a character you've invented, and it can entail one of many things. Sometimes it could be a roleplay D&D or Warhammer style adventure where you and your band of furry cringy friends go on a big adventure to save the big booby princess from the big evil dragon, which one of your party may also end up either flirting with, fucking, or slaying in the bedroom later. RP can also be initiated casually by people who tend to use RP text in general conversations. You may have seen this among the more younger furries in the crowd because they haven't grown out of the period where they haven't realised that certain things are socially acceptable or unacceptable, i.e. using RP text in a situation outside of RP may or may not be cute in their eyes, but it is in fact rather cringy and a bit, weird. Look at me, a big blue farf calling other people weird. What's the world coming to? Now, I'm going to have to get down into the nitty-gritty because this is a topic that I feel personally strongly about, because most furry YouTubers, not naming names, I mean, I've got so many, I can't really name all of them, can I? Tend to put RP in quite a, let's say, either a memorific or negative light, because let's face it, RP entails a couple things which they probably wouldn't want to talk about if they wanted to keep their ad revenue, which is of course the sexual side encompassing quite a big part of it. But like I said, not all of it. Remember in my last video I did say everyone's got their own motivations and it may or may not be sexual, but not acknowledging that side of it would be a dishonour and a disservice to those who may get a bit of pleasure from it or enjoyment. Not everything has to be bad, people. Now, roleplay of the more mature side can be seen on places, let's say, like F-List or even Fur Affinity if you browse with the SFW thing turned off, which I'm sure pretty much all of you do, just like we all use Twitter on night mode. Now, RP is usually initiated by two people who wish to have some kind of either encounter or adventure regarding two characters that are usually their own, or maybe a scenario that they've invented revolving around a certain topic that they share. Because this is actually how some friendships are formed within the fandom. Usually a good RP session can also be a way to bridge the gap or build rapport between people who may have similar interests and find something compatible between the two of them. But usually sometimes it will be randoms RPing in notes until one of them either puts in parentheses that they're not into it, or the other one comes too quickly and then leaves the chat, never to be seen again. Now, of course, the sexual side of RP is what turns most people off from talking about it, because as I said, it is a very large portion of this type of play, as it usually involves two people typing out scenarios with their characters in order to gain some kind of sexual pleasure from it. But as I'm about to go into, that's not always the case. RP sometimes, even outside of the RPG realm, can also be used as a creative tool. Now, as you know, there aren't just artists in this fan, and there are also very talented authors and story writers and comic book artists. And some don't always work alone. You may have seen from your travels on Fur Affinity, if you have browsed such things or are into stories, that some stories are formed by collaborations between 1, 2, or maybe even 3 or 4 people. This sometimes maybe through collaboration of ideas, offering of opinions, and sometimes maybe even adapted RP text. These are basically two authors who have taken it in turns typing out and advancing a story that they both have either interest in or have expressed a want to create. And this can offer some very, very unique perspectives, especially if the two people messaging have very similar writing styles that complement each other enough to make it look like that it's one person. Now, collaboration is a very communal thing in this fandom, and RP is definitely a way of bridging the gap between two people and allowing them to express their creativity in a way that wouldn't be possible through general interaction. RP especially allows people on the creative side to not only practice their writing skills, but also work on a project that they themselves and one other person can contribute to then publish one glorious whole of a story. Now, I myself have a few personal examples of this, but I will save that for another video, as this will not be the only time I cover a topic such as this, because RP is one of those things that is looked down upon by the vast majority of people in this fandom, particularly those who have any sort of online presence, because it is either parodied, made fun of, or just completely stayed away from, because apparently we're all Puritans in this fandom, which of course some are, but we're mostly not. We're all human, everyone. Wait, no, we're not. We're all furries, everyone. We're all normal people, allegedly. And we all have our own drives and motivations and urges. Now, RP is one of those ways of expressing that. Roleplay in the RPG realm also allows furries to interact with each other on a more adventure standpoint, especially considering most of us spend our time online. It allows us to play various games and pretend to be characters and reenact various stories that someone may have created. RPGs are an excellent way of not only making friends, having fun in the community, and also allowing yourself to socialize and express yourself creatively around either your peers or people that you may end up forming long-time friendships with. RP is not just a little sexual quickie that is had in notes. It also allows for people to bridge the gap between personalities and allows creativity to flourish in all mediums. Whether it's in an RPG format, a story format, or even just character expression, RP is a way of expressing yourself, your character, and your writing skills in ways that you never thought possible. Because let's think about it, you and a friend will be able to work on something that you may be able even to publish into a story, or maybe even an ebook, which you and your friend can put your name on. I've known some very, very good writers in this fandom who have not only made a living doing this, but also have had stories that have lasted thousands upon thousands of words through their own collaborative and creative efforts. And it leads to one of my strongest points in this fandom, that community is everything. We try to do everything together. We try to include everyone. RP shouldn't be one of those things that people feel alienated or ostracized about, particularly when it comes to either expressing yourself in an SFW or NSFW environment, because most of the popular culture in this fandom, particularly people on YouTube, have a tendency to make fun of the "oh whoa, what's this" meme, implying that we all just use it for a one-time quickie sex thing, which I can attest to not being true. The "whoa, what's this" meme, in my opinion, stems from the bad grammar, asterisk-filled raw XD area of the fandom, which the responsibility lies most with, as I said, younger furries or people who socially interact using RP text as a way to interact with someone, which in itself has its own social implications and problems, but people take that and use that as the entire face of RP, which I think is totally wrong, because RP in itself is not something to be frowned upon or not looked at in the fandom. We acknowledge artists and writers and animators for their work, no matter what they do, even if we may hint at that they may do so-called NSFW things with their artwork. Let's face it, that's how most artists in this fandom make their money. It highlights a very dangerous mindset, in my opinion, that in our ways to preserve the so-called ad-friendly or family-friendly aspect of this fandom, we're shying away from a big portion of it that alienates people who may or may not be into this kind of thing, whether it's role-playing in a fantasy environment, doing RPGs, inventing your own furry D&D scenarios through roleplay, writing stories together, or maybe even just getting your rocks off with your mate halfway across the world one night. The entire genre is taken for one aspect and then plastered all over the internet, which in itself allows viewers and also potential viewers to see RP in itself as something bad and something to take people to task over. Media and image is everything in this fandom, and with the recent developments of how people tend to either witch hunt or lynch people in this fandom for certain ideologies or behaviours that others might not like, even taking out the legal standpoints of everything. This isn't about objectivity, this is about subjectivity. The RP in itself is a wholly bad thing that is ruining the image of the fandom when there are so many things that come before that should be looked at. RP is not a bad thing. If you RP for whatever reasons, whether it's creative, personal, or maybe just a way of unwinding, that's something you can do. It's not something you should be afraid of. And people who make fun of it, people who plaster it all over their YouTube videos going, "Oh woo, what's this? No, this is your bulge. Oh, sucky sucky," and stuff like that, don't feel alienated. That may or may not be you, but even if it is, why should you feel ostracized for it? Being ostracized is one of the biggest problems this fandom has in our ways of parodying and making fun of people through things that we may even do in our private time that we make fun of in front of the camera for the sake of either a dead or alive meme. It can hurt people. It can also hurt people's creativity because they'll feel like, oh, I RP, but this furry YouTuber said that RP is bad because they made fun of it. I don't want to do that anymore. Be careful what you say when you parody or make fun of things, especially with something like RP. This isn't the only video I'm going to make about this subject, particularly RP being used in a creative format. And when you read stories online, particularly those written by more than one person, it is highly likely that the author will even say, or if you are a seasoned role player, you may even be able to spot, have come from RP. RP is creative expression and a tool that people can use for either personal, work, or just pleasure. RP is not something to be frowned upon. It is something to be embraced and used and cherished because it allows some people to express their creativity in a way that they may not have even thought possible. They may even form friends, or may even get better at writing and end up publishing stories. We all start somewhere. People don't frown upon artwork. People don't frown upon story. People don't frown upon animation. We all know the NSFW aspect is there, but considering RP in itself can be a meme, it stands to suffer most from this so-called parody nature that some YouTubers or even just furries online tend to take when it comes to making fun of this particular style of media. Some of you may have expected a funnier video. Some of you probably may have expected just 10 minutes of me making fun of it. I threw in a little bit of a performative bit at the beginning for those people, but I'm gonna get serious that I don't find this meme funny. It's not funny, it's disgusting. I think it's an incredibly narrow-minded and underhanded way of undermining creators who may use roleplay or RP as a way of writing or even expressing their characters, or even having a nice little roleplay session in a D&D scenario or other RPG world with their friends. because it ends up ostracizing and alienating those people who may have just come to watch someone's video to say, hey, I'm going to relax and watch this video. They don't expect to be made fun of. Even in a comedic format, you're supporting something that is now plastered as a narrow-minded assumption that all RP is the woo bulgy wolgy meme. This isn't the only video I'm going to be making on RP. This was pretty much just a general overview of my personal opinion when it comes to RP and how other people view it. The next time I make a video like this, I'm going to be going into general specifics of how RP can be used in a creative format, and I will have my own examples to cite, but I'm going to save that for another video. I have my own personal proof that RP can be a great creative outlet for people, and I hope in the future that I can show all of you just how much of a positive influence it has had on my life and experience as a writer and a creator in this fandom. So thank you all for listening to this little overview / rant, because honestly, it's something I've felt pretty strongly about for a long time, and every parody I see kind of pushes me closer to thinking that I need to say something about this. I need to at least shed some light, or at least begin to tell people that RP in itself is not just a meme. It's not just sex. It's not just something to be made fun of. It's not just bad grammar. It's one aspect of a bigger style that I hope to shed light on and share some pretty good examples with in the near future. So I will hopefully see you all next week, if all of you haven't probably left the video by now after I dropped the performance at the beginning. Please like, comment and subscribe. I think this video is probably going to be shorter than my last one, but I'm going to try my best to hopefully extrapolate on and express my views on RP in the future. It may be a less of an unscripted or barely scripted ranty format, because honestly, this is something I feel pretty strongly about, and in the future I'm definitely going to be providing more and more examples as my development goes on, and I hope one day to share it all with you in a proper format. So to those that RP, keep on RPing. You're more than welcome here. So I will see you all next week, everyone. Bye bye!